Ladies and gentlemen, until today, you knew me as that crazy guy from Howard Beach. But very soon, they're going to be offering me big dollars for the movie rights to the theory that I am going to put forth to you right now. What you are looking at, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact the Great Pyramid. It has been my logo since I was a child. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And the reason it has been my logo is because I found something when I was a child that made me aware that the Great Pyramid was very special by playing Dick Tracy. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I always wanted to be Dick Tracy, and it turned out that in real life, once I learned how to use these tools, when I worked for the Air Force on the first 6 ships known as the A-10A, or in fact the Warthog, when I learned how to use this set of tools, which is a mechanical drawing set of tools, which allowed me to modify the plans on the Warthog itself, or on some of the Pratt & Whitney engines that I had worked on, because if I found out that there was something that needed modification, I would just modify it, send the plans to the engineer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And if they couldn't figure it out for themselves on paper, I would take this set of tools from Farkas that I purchased when I was a little boy, made in 1936 in Germany. If the engineers couldn't figure it out on paper, I would scribe it out on a piece of metal and fabricate the product. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. This allowed me to make and modify parts for jet aircraft. And the reason that it allowed me to modify and make parts for a jet aircraft, such as this wing bay, well, this is an aileron, a section of an aileron that I made in high school, was because I am a licensed jet mechanic. And because I am a licensed jet mechanic, I was allowed to modify things on planes and then sign pieces of paper that said the plane was allowed to fly, and then you would get into the plane and say, okay, Michael Fazio said it's okay to fly that plane. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. And all during the course of my years in school, I realized that mechanical drawing played a much more important role in life than most people would want to believe. And in fact, in my studies, I learned that on the $1 bill, there were in fact alignment marks that I'm going to show you now on the very corners of where the poles of shittim wood that I have explained to you exist that hold the Ark of the Covenant. This is a set of alignment marks. 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 There is a series of 6 sets of 4 alignment marks on the reverse of the $1 bill. There is also a complete series of alignment marks on the front of the $1 bills, as well as a picture of the Omega symbol, that which no one on earth seems to know exists. Of course, that is until today, because I have brought you this information because it is time for you to know all of the different pictographs, ideograms, glyphs, and even ancient languages, and perhaps a language that didn't even originate on this planet. It is time for you to know this, and it is time for me to bring or impart this information to you, because the most key element of the $1 bill is in fact that George Washington and the 4 dashes that appear on either side of George Washington's eyes on these little candy cane-like structures represents the 44th President of the United States of America, as the last President of the United States of America while we still are a free society. So George Washington is the first President of the United States of America, aka the Alpha. That can't be disputed. And because there is an omega symbol around George Washington also represents the omega, the beginning and the end. And the end is represented in various ways, including the 4 dashes that appear right here, and the 4 dashes that appear right here, and also at the zenith or apex underneath the triangle of the Great Pyramid, right here, underneath the eye itself. In real life, you can Google it. Google and see what is called the mantle or the plateau of the Great Pyramid, that in real life that plateau is 44 feet by 44 feet. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this is a series of pictographs. Aside from the fact that it is a picture or a pictograph of the Ark of the Covenant, on the reverse of the $1 bill and on the obverse of the $1 bill is a series of pictographs so complex that no human being, no engineer, no team of engineers, no team of scientists, no school, no center, no institution, no group of people, no group of physicists, no group of engineers, no group of anything on earth could have created this bill. This $1 bill was created by an entity that we perceive to be a god. There are, in fact, on this side of the bill, 2,200 pictographs that I can point out in a matter of hours. And I might have to do so. Aside from the fact that there are the alignment marks everywhere, these lines that appear on radial degrees around the perimeter of the compasses that appear to radiate out from the compasses themselves are all in and of themselves individual and separate alignment marks that allow you to make three-dimensional constructs on the obverse and reverse of the $1 bill. And more importantly, if there was such a thing as more importantly, I can tell you that not only can you make these three-dimensional constructs in two-dimensional planes, but you can make these three-dimensional constructs such as this cephalopod by folding the bill and lining up certain alignment marks. You can make depictions of the faces of different types of gods that appear on the $1 bill. In this case, what you are looking at appears to be a cephalopod type entity that would swim through the oceans. However, if you will notice, at the pointed end, you are also looking at the 4 faces, 8 faces, or 16 faces of a series of cherubim that appear when you make the alignment marks aligned to a certain angle of inclination. Those alignment marks are not by chance. Notice the nose ring at the mouth of the cephalopod. It appears to be swimming through a medium. In this case, the medium is water. However, the cephalopod is a representation of the Lord God, in that he was in fact in charge of the creation of life in the oceans. And during the first major segment of time upon the earth, only one-celled creatures lived in the oceans. And then all of a sudden, these multi-celled organisms, cephalopods, vampire bats, and squid appeared from nowhere 330 million years ago with the most complex ganglia on the planet Earth. And this is all reviewable when you go online and look at the cephalopods. You will see that they appeared from seemingly nowhere. And if this wasn't enough, he also made three-dimensional constructs of bullocks, which you know, I believe, are the bullocks that appear on the ends of the $1 bill that appear to be bullocks, the same way a bullock appears to be bullocks. The horns of these bullocks are readily discernible by rolling the bill in certain angles, such as this, and on a 15-degree arc, rolling arc on either side, even though they appear to be different, because they are different. One is shaped like a calf and one is shaped like a bullock. And ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you that this is occurring because these little faces that appear at the end or the pointed section of the $1 bill are really angels that protect the Lord God, and the faces of seraphim with eyes that appear before and behind. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Fazio from the Florida Keys saying God day to you all. And the smile on my face is because I'm finally bringing you the information that I've wanted to do so for 35 years. God